Morning. The body of a West Virginia missing coal miner has been found. And $147 million in federal funding was secured for military construction projects at Kentucky's defense facilities.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. Thanks so much for joining us here on Mountain News This Morning on your Friday, November 14th. 6 o'clock this morning, and of course, time for a check of our weather with meteorologist Megan Dusmall this morning. Megan, we've got those cold temperatures, but not too chilly, especially after that snowfall we've had. So honestly, blessings.
Yes, that's what I've got to tell you guys is it's cold, but it's not as cold as it was earlier this week. So keep that in mind as you're beginning your day. It could always be colder. Here's a look at those current temperatures and a mixture of the 30s and 40s. Some folks are a tad chillier than others. We're in the upper 20s and low 30s as you travel more towards our southern counties. And then we're looking at the upper 30s and low 40s for more of our northern counties. This afternoon, though, everyone will be seeing a mixture of the mid to upper 60s, with the exception of our two far most southern counties. Take a look at Pulaski and Wayne. 71 is that forecast high, and we'll be thankful to see some nice and sunny skies all day long, just making those temperatures feel even better. Amelia.
Two former town officials received their sentences in court yesterday after pleading guilty to embezzlement. Former Fort Gay Mayor Joetta Hatfield and former treasurer and recorder Sheila Bowen were both sentenced to 1 to 10 years in prison. Both pleaded guilty to felony embezzlement. The two admitted to intentionally misdirecting more than $370,000 of Fort Gay's public funds over a 7-year period. Days-long search for a missing coal miner underground has now ended. Crews found the body of foreman Steve Lipscomb at the Rolling Thunder mine in Nicholas County, West Virginia. Governor Patrick Morrisey says miners hit an unknown pocket water while working Saturday afternoon as tens of millions of gallons of water were rushing in Alpha Metallurgical Resources, says Elkview native and foreman Stephen Lipscomb was last seen attempting to ensure his crew made it out safely. Well, after a 43-day government shutdown, parts of the federal government are returning to normal, and the Trump administration is rewarding some government workers who stayed on the job. The White House says more than 1 million federal employees who weren't paid will start receiving back pay as early as Sunday. Meanwhile, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says TSA agents who went above and beyond will get a $10,000 bonus. President Trump has also suggested bonuses for the air traffic controllers who worked without pay while the government was closed.
They're going to get a bonus check for stepping up, taking on extra shifts, for showing up each and every day.
The TSA bonuses will be paid from what Homeland Security called carryover funding from the last fiscal year. The end to the shutdown begins a new fight over health care tax credits under the Affordable Care Act, which will expire at the end of the year. That would potentially raise premiums for millions. The government reopening has many wondering when things will return to normal, especially for air travel. In Lexington, some travelers are concerned about delays and cancellations, but Bluegrass Airport has been operating as usual despite some cancellations from connecting airports. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced Wednesday that 6% of scheduled flights at America's 40 busiest airports will remain canceled for the time being.
It's been really hard for us as employees here at the airport to see our colleagues that are federal employees not being paid. So for us, this is a huge relief.
While Bluegrass Airport has not seen staffing interruptions, they have experienced at least one cancellation per day since that shutdown. Michael Halligan, CEO and president of God's Pantry Food Bank, provided a statement about the government reopening. It says in part, quote, many families who experience disruptions to SNAP or other assistance will need time to recover, and our work remains as critical as ever. The statement went on to say that the organization is grateful for the generosity Kentuckians have shown during these times. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history, 43 days. It's finally come to an end as President Donald Trump signed the agreed Congress bill into law. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino talked to local food pantries who have aimed to pick up the slack in this time of need.
On October 1st, the United States federal government was temporarily shut down after lawmakers failed to come to an agreement on budget allocations. The shutdown affecting locals who receive federal funding such as SNAP benefits and food pantries who aim to pick up the slack in times of need, like the Community Cooperative Care Center.
People are more stressed. We have a thrift store here, so we've actually had more shoppers coming in just because they're worried and they want to save their money and spend it more wisely.
The CCC and Good Samaritan's Home say they have been trying to keep up with the amount of food needed in the area.
We have seen a lot more people coming in, people coming to join us for meal times, and really people just coming for to ask for a food box or ask for food.
Each center says since the government shut down, they've seen nearly 100 more community members passing through in need of support. However, they believe there is hope that funding and relief will be here shortly.
We are hoping that with things kind of hopefully settling down, that people will be able to have that SNAP funding that they're used to and can sort of just, calm their concerns and provide for the families that need it so much.
But until then, continuing to support those in need.
We've been a stressed community for quite some time, but we're coming out of it. But we're prepared for whatever comes our way. So with the community's help, we'll be here.
In Laurel County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, thanks, McKinley. SNAP benefits are now resuming for nearly 600,000 Kentuckians. While some were initially receiving partial benefits. For information regarding SNAP benefit funding, you can visit our website, WYMT.com. With the ongoing concerns about food insecurity throughout the region, several businesses are trying to do their part to help folks in need. Sanctuary on 2nd and Sippin' on 2nd, located in Williamson, West Virginia, created a food distribution program to feed hungry neighbors as issues with SNAP funding continue as this cold weather enters the mountains for the holiday season. The business is providing free warm meals and grocery bags daily, with donations pouring in from area supporters to keep the food flowing.
Spend their hard-earned money here and to basically become our family. We have customers every day that we see, and we just want to be able to help the community as much as they've helped us.
Workers say the community is doing the heavy lifting, and they're blessed to be part of this mission. $147 million in federal funding was secured for military construction projects at Kentucky's defense facilities, including work at Fort Knox. Let's take a look at some of these numbers. $50 million of that will be used to tear down aircraft hangars at Fort Knox. Base officials say the existing hangars aren't able to support current and future operations. $8 million will go towards building a new access road. A new two-way bypass will allow military equipment and large vehicles to easily travel between Fort Knox's main roads. Another $4.5 million will be used to rebuild 2 new dining facilities. Governor Andy Beshear conducted a Team Kentucky briefing from Frankfort yesterday. During that update, one of the topics the governor discussed was the progress being made on water infrastructure being replaced or repaired due to damage caused by flooding within the past few years. The governor says Team Kentucky received $9 million through the water supply replacement program.
And we've been working to complete 5 projects in Breathitt, Knott, and Perry counties. A few weeks ago, we completed 2 projects in Breathitt and Knott counties that upgraded water lines and repaired infrastructure. The Breathitt Multi-Sites project repaired infrastructure that was severely damaged in the 2022 floods. This $1.7 million project replaced over 6,000 feet of water line, which improved service to 950 Kentucky households.
Now you can find more about the governor's briefing on his YouTube page.
We're looking at a little bit of clouds as we're starting off your day, but don't worry, those clouds will be moving away pretty quickly. Sunny skies are the forecast for your Friday, and it's looking to be one of the best Fridays we've seen in a while. Now, this morning is on the chillier side, but not as bad as earlier this week. This afternoon, though, that is where we're really coming to play with some beautiful temperatures. Mid to upper 60s for most folks in eastern Kentucky, with the exception of Somerset and Monticello, having the chance of hitting that 71-degree mark. We'll be seeing the sunshine all day long with high temperatures in the early afternoon around 3 o'clock. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 6:09. Coming up, a simple but meaningful service. Now, one hairdresser is on a mission to bring dignity and hope, one haircut at a time.